for the last 2 days.
Oh yeah. Whoa,
Yeah, it's just a lot of energy, and I feel a bit discombobulated. I had a junior meltdown about an hour, 2 hours ago. I got off the show, and I just was like, oh my God, I became so human and so vulnerable. I sent my friend a note and said something. I said, I just need to say this, and she was like, just take a nap. That was a good idea, because I said, I'm taking a nap. But when I never was able to go to sleep, and then the David Wilcock thing, and there were several other things on my mind, which was basically that, and that was just a little symbol of it. And I said, wait a minute, what I'm getting here, what I've been getting for the last 2 weeks, this is just the beginning. This is where our belief systems get challenged. This is where we start to really learn how deep this stuff goes, and we really learn that this is really one big mind fuck. That's it. It's not about weapons. It's not about weapons. It's not about tech. It's not about, no, it's about implanted thoughts, things presented in distortion, and done in a way just like this press release and the narrative that's been released and controlled, okay, about the David Wilcox thing, because it creates these divergent things. It proliferates different theories. This is the whole idea of the information disinformation. Okay, I think we're going to see more of this in the light worker community.
So much,
and even with all these scientists disappearing, again, who's releasing the information? How do we really know what's going on? They created this moon mission, multiple moon mission thing in the 1960s because they were doing something else, and it fooled us for 60 years. And then you have a guy come out. What is it? 2 months ago, the guy comes out at NASA and he goes, we're excited. This will be the first time we're going to the moon." And everybody's like, "What? Did you see that?" They're all going, "What?" Well, you know what my theory is? That just the way they revised history by taking over the educational system, their plan, it's not going to work because we're a soul and we're taking over this MFER. Okay, but it would be that. At some point, they will just erase all that stuff. And that will be the first point of context. Oh, this is the first time we're going to the moon. Hey, they've done it before. They've wiped out entire centuries and time periods in truce, So not to be antagonistic or separate from those, because I'm one with them all, but yeah, this is getting
this is getting real.
Yeah, it is.
Getting real.
Yeah, and this information I'm getting about
warfare.
Tell me about it. And look, I'm now being pushed to go to Colorado, have this event on the 25th, 26th, and 27th. People are sending me information that's mind blowing. The place.
What month?
September, and so. And I'm looking at it, and it's like in the middle of the super prison region, in the middle of military bases in the mountains region that have been there for eons, all right? So, I don't know. I'm just saying everybody be cool, and, sometimes you got to take the chill pill. It's not the red pill or the blue pill, right? Anyway, it's nice to be here. I'm getting out of here. I'll let you guys.
Nice to see you.
I'll let you look. I look like somebody just look at me. I look like I just got like out of a whirlwind.
You look fine. I think it's hilarious that you bring up the missing scientists and the David Wilcock, and Gareth and I were just talking about that an hour ago.
Yeah.
Gareth. Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is some crazy shit, man.
We got to be real careful where we're getting our information. We think we're getting our information because we can find anything we want to substantiate our position and our belief systems. Anything we want on the internet. It's no problem. Okay? Yeah. We're being guided to go into what I call the intranet. The intranet, not the internet, the intranet, which is a localized network, which is all of us. Which is more and more consciously coming online, and I'm talking about telepathy, synchronicities, and unification in the field as well. I think there's a lot of people that are starting to come together in the field for extended periods of time or short periods of time. This is all energy in motion. Yeah, yeah, this is going to be awesome, you know. But I don't personally believe that we're going to make it. We're going to, or I'm going to only speak for myself. I don't personally believe that I'm going to be able to navigate it from my cognizance, from my cognizant mind, from my
Yeah.
linear mind, from my human mind. You know, this is God. This
Yep.
is calling on my soul and my multidimensionality and all the aspects within me, because I'm going to need them all, because they all have certain specialties. Wow, where's this all
Yep.
coming from? And you know, I was sitting here. I was sitting here on
You're
the last.
channeling.
I was sitting here on the last show talking to Bliss, and I don't know what I was saying. And this door behind me, okay, there's a little bathroom, half bathroom over here. It opened and shut. It went boom.
I know.
Yeah, we're surrounded by family. Okay, I got to go. I'll see y'all later.
Yeah, we
Take
are.
care.
Bye,
Peace out.
Todd.
Have a good show. Bye bye. I'll be
Thanks.
back. I'll be back in 2 hours. Okay, bye bye.
Okay.
See you, Todd.
He's so funny. Why'd you take away the camera view of your trees?
Well, because I was actually in our bedroom, and Anna doesn't like me doing these sort of things in the bedroom because of the energy.
Okay.
So
Okay.
and I didn't think that, and that's fair enough. So
Oh,
sorry about that.
I
I just gave
totally
you
understand that. No, that's okay. I just had never seen that view in all these years with all those trees behind you.
right.
So I loved it. But yeah, no, I get it. Aw, Margot says hi from Melbourne.
Margot says what?
Hi from Melbourne.
Oh, hi from Melbourne. Hi, Margot. Well said, by the way, Katie. You really got that down.
Thank you. I've been practicing for about 4 years.
A lot of practice.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Wow.
So I'm in Texas.
Yes, you
I'm in
are.
Austin. Yeah. So I'm in the same state that Todd is in, but he's in Houston. And I don't know why I had it in my mind that he was in Dallas, and I was in Dallas last night. Roseanne and me and Mom, but he's in Houston. So we're gonna try and see each other here in Austin, and or I told him I'll drive to Houston. Oh, Xana's in North Texas. Ooh, hi Xana.
Who is?
Somebody on I don't know where they're. I don't know if it's Facebook or YouTube, because I can't see their comment on YouTube, so maybe it's Facebook. Oh, and Roseanne says, "Me too." Oh, and Donna was born in Houston. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, so much happening right now. Oh my God.
Yes.
Did everybody here on the call hear the news that David Wilcock died? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And suicide, I've heard one comment say.
we can't
And the 11,
know.
those 11 scientists, specialists in anti-gravity and all sorts of physics you'd expect around direct energy technology.
Gone missing and nobody's talking about it.
Like WTFs are popping up everywhere.
It's like, whatever. Like, I don't believe anything I read, whether it be alternative sources or mainstream, which I don't even really follow mainstream. So we cannot believe anything. It's all kind of hijacked right now.
Which is, like, what do you do with that? It's psychological warfare. It's full on. And both sides
It's full
are playing
on. Both sides are playing it. Like, if you ask, some people think the White Hats are in control of the mainstream media, that a lot of the people that we're seeing are not the actual people, that they've been rounded up and it's like actors or whatever playing them. But some people, Patty just says, "Who said that?" And Janelle says, "I had not heard that." So yeah, Billy Carson, I first heard of it because we've been driving for 24 hours for 2 days. And I just saw it on Billy Carson's channel, Forbidden Knowledge. And before we went live on this show, Todd was talking about it, like he had heard about it, and he was talking about how it got trickled out into the public, and it went from one angle to then suicide angle. Like it's all orchestrated. It's like whatever. Oh, and then Gareth, you and I were Zooming before the show, before I even talked with Todd, and you were talking about Arna's download when she was walking your dog, and talk about that. That's fascinating. Because that's the way I
Well,
feel. Like maybe they're not missing at all. Maybe they're
no,
not dead at all. Maybe they're
it's
absolutely
possible.
where they need to be for this. Go on.
Yeah. Well, since we're about 2014, um, both of us started getting really clear, like 5D stuff. She has her version, I have mine, and it was all pointing to the process of the white hat side of things connecting with the street level side of things. Well, this was last year, and I've had a few dreams, and she has as well, and kind of daytime stuff. It's all astral playing, astral projection, astral stuff is 5D, and so she was walking the dog, and she got a really clear image that we were taken, her and our kids were taken into an underground, some kind of underground base, and there were screens up with like people from the military, multiple very big screens, and there were people from the military, people from different groups all together, and then I was apparently I was on another screen, and I was actually on a ship, an ET ship with a group of ETs, kind of waving it, and the kids are sitting there with their jaws on the ground, like. So we'd been through this briefing process,
Like,
and then
look
they
at
were
that.
taken. Yeah, right, right. Well, they were then taken to this training, put through a training process, which looked for all the world like the Star Trek thing with the Galactic Federation, which makes, we've been shown that. But one big part of this open contact thing is we'd be brought into being an interstellar civilization. So you can imagine that's going to take a bit of there's some stuff that's got to happen. Well, this part that she was showing was a sort of like a secret part that a whole group of people were brought into the disclosure process or the open contact process at a sort of secret level, and then put through integrating everything, like it all went click click click, this is why you've been having these experiences, or and then it brought up to speed, etc. So the whole thing was clarified, so that as the public aspect of it played out, um, then that group of people, which I've always been shown, is they showed me an image of this transition wave, like a physical wave, and that there was a whole group of soul groups and people that have been taking this on. We chose to go through the transition at the sort of leading edge of the wave. So it's groups of people in that all around the world at that point, put through this process. And then once it's out in the open fully, of course, everyone's good, because, open contact, believe me, it's not a small thing. It completely changes everything about our civilization from the top down, bottom up, you name it. And there's an emotional process that you're going to go through, like everyone's going to go through, which ain't small, and it's a compressed timeline. So they're going to have to catch up fast. So there's a role for people to go back into society and kind of set up programs, and there's a lot of help in there, from the white hats, and there's a financial system shift that'll be part of it, political, you name it, everything. So there needs to be a lot of people on the ground who've already gone through the emotional, getting a handle on this stuff, integrated it, and then connected with systems that can help everybody else integrate it, because our whole civilization's got to be flipped around the other way. It's
Yep.
basically going from a system of slavery, totalitarianism, the empire in Star Wars, back to a federation, which is different from democracy.
Mm.
It's not the same thing as democracy. Democracy
Mm-mm.
is it's the same thing that always happened with royalty, where the people behind the throne, the power behind the throne, actually ran everything. So you see,
Yep.
except instead of having a king with a right of rule, it's an elected leader. So that whole
Yep.
system's got to be dismantled, and everyone's got to catch up. Like, what the hell's been happening? This is what's been happening. And again, that's a process that a lot of people are going to have to go through and helped with. Yeah, so it was a secret program. Now, it makes sense to me, given the point we're at, that these scientists wouldn't have just been allowed to get taken out. Like that, this kept these images that we were given and the stuff we were told. It keep popping up whenever I read this stuff. I keep thinking, I think that secret program started because the Arcturians told me in December. They told me in January last year you will end the year in the same situation with which you began it. Now, when they say you, they're always talking to me personally or us, but they're talking about the human race as a whole. So something big was going to actually hit. Then towards the end of the year, they showed it to me. They called it the slingshot, like a slingshot effect. So this process has been playing out would become physical. They showed it to me like a stone skipping on water in December and then launching into April. And April was where there was some kind of integrating process going on between January and April. They said it will you'll be moving very fast. It will feel like you're moving a little slower than you really are, though. And ain't that the truth? January, February, March were
so true.
oh, and then but the April thing was where the stone just shot off into the rest of the year. They showed me June was a key month, so April and June. But it's about to go into a whole other level. And then when I came out of the coma in around New Year's Eve, remember the coma? They told me I had the Arcturians behind me, and Tom was sitting to my right, and the Arcturians told me it is done. Everything in the physical will now conform.
Yeah.
And it was like
Yeah.
full stop. So everything we've all been working towards is actually going to start hitting big time. So to me, it makes way more sense that they were taken out of this, particularly because you're talking about the human, because we have to integrate with them. They're not just going to come in and give us the whole thing. We had to be at a point where we could integrate with the galactic side of this. So technologically, we need scientists who are at a certain point that can actually connect with this technology and fill in all the blanks. That is the deliberate disinformation of science as part of the controlled narrative. It makes way more sense to me that these scientists who are specialists in exactly the right technology for direct energy, anti-gravity as part of that, to be pulled into this secret program. Now, I'm not saying that's exactly what's happening. However, that to me is the only thing that really makes sense. Now, is David Wilcock included in that? Quite possibly.
It's quite possible. Yeah. He's looked a little tortured to me for a while. And Lynn was actually saying, like on his last live, he did not look good. And I see that. I felt into that a couple of times that I've seen him. Kind of looked a little gray, a little off, but I don't know. We can't know anything. We can't know any of this stuff. Oh my God.
Yeah. Look, all I know is it's an absolute certainty that we are coming back to reality, and everything that's been in the way has to be exposed as that process, because we have to see through the lie. We have to, you have to know it's a lie. And the only way to really know that is for it to come out and be seen in the open. So the fourth beast has to rise from the sea. The corporate takeover with the legal system and everything that involves controlled narrative especially has to be pulled up into the sunlight, the open.
Yeah.
For everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. And not just questioning what you're seeing, what's being reported, but questioning what you believe. I have been questioning what I believe on every single level. My beliefs from you, my beliefs from childhood, my beliefs from whatever I'm looking on social media or Instagram or whatever. It's not just enough. It's not just enough anymore to question what you're hearing and seeing. You have to question every single thought you're having. Like this is warfare on all levels, frequency, physical. Like it's like our thoughts are like they're not our own.
Right.
They're really
Yeah.
not. They can't be.
Yes. Mm. And okay, so those thoughts aren't our own. Well, what are? We've been living in this blank information gap for so long. And that's just, look, that's what I'm talking about. What you've been going through and everyone on the call, and I know myself, it's quite disorienting and challenging everything you think you know without having a direct answer to replace it. It's definitely bringing up insecurity and self-doubt, and that's what it's designed to do. But being able to stay in that feeling, thinking, okay, either this is working out for the good of the human race, or it's really is them taking over and we're screwed. Staying in that place ain't easy,
No,
but
no,
it's
it's a
very,
really, it's a lonely place to be. Like we've had Roseanne with us on this trip from, Kentucky to Texas, and we talk about all sorts of things. And I sound so cold. I sound harsh. I sound detached. I sound even mean. But that's how it appears when you're questioning everything that everyone believes, including your own thoughts and your own way. You're
yes,
literally going the opposite direction. It's why I I don't know. It's
and it triggers
it's
people because you're not playing the game. You're not reacting to the topic is
the
in the
topic
same
of
way
the
they are.
day.
Yeah, so there's a stillness and a
Right.
quietness, stepping back, watching as well, and you know that's
Yeah,
you're
like
not supposed to do that.
the empathy someone has for a situation or a person going through something, I just don't have it right now. I mean, I'm an empathic, loving person, right? I want the best and the highest. But right now, in these insane times, I see all of it: the struggle, the pain, the grief, the rage, the fury. I see it as our highest. So if
Correct.
I love someone who all of a sudden is in the thick of it, in grief and rage and despair and not feeling inspired, I don't feel bad for him. I'm like, fucking welcome. Thank God you're here. All of you, all of us have to go through it. And you've said to me since like day one of knowing you, it's better for you if you choose it. I think God told you that, or God said it in the book, The Only Planet of Choice.
Yeah.
Everyone has to go through this. I don't care how much money you have, how accomplished you are, who you know, what you've done. I don't care. This, yeah.
That's it. And what's the motivation behind all of this stuff they've been doing for thousands of years? Fundamentally, they're looking for a way to make the transition with you. That's what it's all about. It's not about all the rabbit holes you can go down. That's all part of the psychological warfare and how it works. But fundamentally, they were trapped into a situation where they had to figure out how to make this transition with us, or they're done. So but they've never found a way. They have not found a way. They cannot make this transition with us. Full stop. End of story. So
Yep.
what's playing out is simply what this process looks like in order for it's just what needs to happen for complete clarity, because once we see through this, it can never happen again. And we're talking about the universe. There's now, because of what we've actually gone through as a race, there's now let's say, what's the word? A homeopathic dose to that holds all of the information required to heal this for any race in the universe, which hasn't been there before at the most physically dense level in the universe. That hasn't happened before. So that's why Tom said the way we're transitioning is unique. It's never happened in the universe, in the history of the universe. There's a lot about this process that's never happened before, and we're directly experiencing it in real time, so that it's within our collective consciousness exactly how it happened, why it happened, who did it, and how it happened, and how to
Yeah.
meet it in a way that works.
Yep.
That's the critical. How do you meet all of this in a way that works. So the people at the leading edge of the wave were all kind of going to go through a process that the Arcturians called the Great Coming Together, where what's been happening and how and my place in it goes click, click, click.
Yeah.
So it gets grounded in reality. Now, that part of the human race at the street level needed to be there for the top level, the white hats, to connect with. Without this bottom part of us on the ground, the plan couldn't have worked. And that's what the deep state have been great at getting in the way of. The human race on a street level going, hang on a minute, what's going on? And then unifying around that question. The way Tom put it, we've asked for unity. They've always been able to keep us divide and conquer. All of those stories they put out. And we just grab it and react, and then we just go through, we get played like puppets. And social engineering has been the mechanism. They've held us in this holding pattern until they figure out a way to kind of ride our backs as creative beings, which, of course, as I said, they haven't been able to do. It has not happened. And it can't happen. And all they're doing by fighting the inevitable is accelerating it. That's why the race, we're waking up as fast as we are, blah, blah, blah. So this year, I think by the end of the year, I don't believe that anyone around the world in the general public can say to themselves, there's nothing to see here.
By the end of the year, huh?
Now, that's just my opinion based on what I know. Yes. However, that's what I see happening. So when you see stuff like David Wilcock and these scientists going missing, there's a lot of us who have the ability to stand back from that and go, yeah, but
what's really going on?
Exactly. Right. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
That's huge.
World War III, there's too many of us who have got the wisdom and the emotional intelligence to hold all of that what if and still go, yeah, but what's really happening?
Yeah.
The power of that. There was a great story I came across. I think the guy was actually a psychologist, but he's Hawaiian, and he was a shaman or a very high level in Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry if there's a lot of
Ho'oponopono? Ho'oponopono. Yeah.
That's right. So he was connected to a hospital for the criminally insane. And what he did...
Oh, we've talked about this. Yep.
He cured the entire group, people who had to be in shackles.
They closed down the hospital.
And the way he did it was he got the charts of each one of them, he read them, he kind of evaluated the issue, and then identified his own personal connection to that, and then said repeatedly, I'm sorry, I love you, I'm sorry, I love you, I'm sorry, I love you, to each one of them.
Please forgive me, I'm sorry, I love you, thank you. 4 things repeated over the charts, over the charts. Yep.
And that's what happened. They all became gradually, people in shackles could be released. They were all cured. They were all released back into the community, completely clear. Now, that's one person.
Yep.
And every single one of us has the same power, like the Nazarene said. Why are you so amazed? All this and more you too shall do, not may do, not quite possibly if you get your act together. But no, all this and more you too will do, because I'm the same as you. You're the same as me. Your ability to manifest physical reality is, we do. That's why this has happened. That's what they've been trying to do. We can manifest physical reality because we're fifth dimensional conscious self-aware life. They can't. This core element can't, because it's not. And that's the power we're waking up to. So everyone who does that question, what's the real truth here? We're transforming a dynamic that affects thousands of people per person. Now, I've heard figures like 10,000, I don't know exactly how many, but it's not. It's way more efficient and powerful than trying to change somebody out there.
Right.
If you notice what this conflict between family and friends and walking down the street, you take that feeling and you turn it back inwards and use the same principle, then that everyone you connect with, you're bringing that element into the field with them.
Yep.
So the fastest way to change the world is to change your outlook on it.
Well, so Roseanne and Mom and I listened to the podcast you and I were talking about earlier, Alex podcast. It was 7 months ago and it was on the way forward, but it was with Nico Martens. He's from Belgium and he works with Dr. Ibrahim Karim. And for me, okay, my favorite of all time Alex podcast was always Militia Coops, the homeopath from Australia. And it's still, phenomenal. But this Nico Martins, talking about the children born right now, talking about how we are, growing our emotional intelligence to support them. They're going to be the teachers. Like, they're coming in now. Like, what he's passionate about is everyone remembering how powerful they are. Each one of us brings something incredibly unique to this. His podcast, oh my God, I lit up from head to toe. He's going to be at this Confluence event that we're at right now, and he's speaking on Monday, and I am like, I would stand in a blizzard for 24 hours to hear that guy in person. Oh my God.
Yeah. So he's on the money. Exactly what he's talking about. That's the same principle. It's our point of view that creates reality.
Yep.
And they've controlled our point of view through the flow of information. Now it's time for us
They
to
have
stop
controlled that point of view through the flow of information. They're trying to now, but the absurd is absurding. So it's failing and kind of backfiring. But Roseanne just wrote in the chats, everything is consciousness. That was my most favorite part. Everything, one of mine. Roseanne, how many favorite parts do we have? Oh my God. So, but it reminded me, everything is consciousness. Like, Aaron Abke spoke about this. The book that I reference so often, Kinship with All Life, written in the 40s. My friend Elizabeth referred me to that book. But everything, you're in response, you're in relationship rather to everything. Everything has consciousness. Nothing doesn't have consciousness because this is all a bubble of one being, one creation. And Nico's talking about everything being in everything having consciousness, and the way you build your architecture and the way you speak and the way you treat your belongings and the way you move in the world. Like, reading that book, Kinship with All Life, made me like cohabitate with ants in my home, gave me telepathic experiences with houseflies on my patio, made me no longer swat at mosquitoes or so-called pests. I use fans or like the motion of air to move them along. Please don't bite me, move along. Like, I don't care how woo it sounds. When you treat everything in your field as life, as relationship, as love, everything responds to you in kind. It's just everything.
Yeah, it's one.
I don't know.
Everything
is one.
You come into Australia and walking through a forest. I've got the size of the fan you bring to deal with that. It'll be funny.
Oh, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. I'm always made fun of for my love of the pet. Spiders is this big. I know. I joked on one of the calls that your spiders were like the size of VW bugs, VW beetles. That's the size of your beetles. But quite honestly, it's all God. So
yes, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know.
Totally. And that's, the thing about this.
Sorry.
Hi.
I'm reading the comments.
I was just going to say
Eve said I made. Yeah, you tell me and then I'll tell you what Eve said. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say the time we're in now is where we bring the extraordinary and the ordinary together. So us in order, this is what I keep saying. How does all this stuff affect you right now, walking down the street, feeling like whoa, and yesterday and tomorrow and all of it? It's that's the time we're in, integrating it. Integrating the reality of what are the ramifications of knowing that the entire universe is a single conscious energy appearing as separate form through the illusion of separation created by time. Why should I care about that?
Yep.
Well, it completely transforms when you start integrating. It completely transforms how you relate to reality. It's a mirror, and the Arcturian said, "You are all the center of the universe." It gets pretty trippy. It can get
Yep.
pretty trippy in a
Yeah. Oh
in a
yeah.
real sense.
Oh yeah. So Eve says in the comments, like, I made friends with a fly because of that book. You know what? And Nigel's making a joke. The horseflies will love Katie. But quite honestly, Nigel and Gareth, you Aussie jerks, like, it's not even a joke. Like, this is how powerful we are. Okay, you know what? Let the huge horsefly land right there. I'm going to talk it out of biting me and talk it into flying away. Like, you make all the fun you want, but this is where we're going.
It works. It works. I remember actually just after I asked for help, I got the book. The first book I got was Conversations with God. So it put that idea in my head, and I started doing that. But then I went to a meditation class, and I was just wanted to do something, and it was a big room, and there was probably about 30 people in there. And there was a fly right over the other side of the room in the corner. I could hear it buzzing around. We're all trying to be quiet. And my first reaction was, shut up, fly. And then I went, no, hang on a minute, it's all God. Yeah, if it's all God, then that fly will land on my head. And boof, as soon as I thought it went from the other side of the room, went doop, straight
Right
on my
on
head.
top.
Just stayed. I went,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
this is happening. I'm going to connect with the reality of God, and I have no idea what that's going to look like. I just know it's possible, and whatever happens is what needs to happen in order for that to happen. And sure enough, it's exactly what happened. 3 years later, I'm sitting in a chair talking to God.
Yep.
How does that
Yep.
happen
Yep.
to
Yep.
an ordinary person? Every single one of you. There's nothing different about me. All of us can do it.
All of us can do it. And so you can make fun of it, right? Andrea Watson says you are right on the money. Andrea, I can't write back to you because I think you're probably coming from Facebook Live and you won't see my comments. And I'm on the YouTube Live, and that's the only place I can comment. So I'm just letting everybody know that. But even so, Nigel keeps going. The huntsmans are nice spiders. Like, shut up, Nigel. Like, I love you, Nigel. Okay. But do you hear what I'm saying? Like, this,
Go, Nigel.
yeah, you be on Nigel's side. Like, this is how powerful we are. Like, I know Nigel, I'm going to throw him under the bus here a little bit, but he's talked about it on the show before in the chats. He deals with like decades of pain. I too dealt with decades of pain. Our pains, our disease are simply misalignment. They're not real. So I'm not telling you, I'm not discounting your experience. I'm saying I decided I don't have my back pain and I don't have it anymore. If it twinges, and I had an injury, I was on workman's comp for years, the drugs, the whole 9 yards. I decided I don't have it anymore. I don't have it anymore. We are more in control of these things, and we're coming into that remembrance than we think. Exactly. And every little thing and conversation and even news headline, and it's all bringing us to knowing that more.
That's it. When you get it the right way around. Yeah, that's it. When you get it the right way around, it's all a reflection of your own process. And that's the thing. Once you get past the reality to shift that this stuff kind of brings into your life, like everything turns upside down. Like it literally, we are reversing the inversion with you. So your whole world turns upside down conceptually within you in a sense. But once you get a handle on just letting that be there, that there is, it's okay to see it all and have the question, what's the truth? That you kind of get used to that after a while. it makes everything really, really, really simple.
Yep.
Really
Yep.
simple. It's all God. It's all one. Lack of a belief in an absolute reality. You've just got to hold that everything is just a symptom of being out of balance with reality,
It's
and
all misalignment.
it's all one
That's
problem.
why
It's not thousands
allopathic
of
medicine
problems.
is a fucking lie.
Yes, allopath. It's designed to keep us stuck in a loop around those symptoms. That it's all just a fact of life. It's not. It's just imbalance, and they do everything they can to stop us connecting with that reality. Oh,
Okay, hold
okay.
on. Okay, hold on. Chi Flow Academy says placebo, nocebo is real. Absolutely. Then our Sam, says even inanimate objects hold and carry energy to be respected, whether it's there because it comes from and through us or it's held in the thing. Nothing is empty. Absolutely. Bang on, Sam. But listen to this one, Gareth. Oh my God. Andrea thanks me for explaining why I can't comment to her, but I am seeing your comments. I just can't comment to you. She said, listen to this, Gareth. My friend told all the cockroaches they had to leave before they all got sprayed. For a week, she wrote sticky notes and stuck them everywhere. And when the pest people came, they were already gone. I'm telling you, Andrea, I don't know how you like it pronounced. I have asked the ants in my home to move off of my food and put a crumb or something for them over here. And they've gone. I have a workman at my house this week while I'm doing this whole Texas thing. And I have friends house sitting. I've told all of them, do not intentionally kill my ants. Ask them to move aside. Scoop them and put them outside. I cohabitate with them. I asked the woman who grooms my cat. Yes, I have a cat that needs grooming. He's disgusting. Anyway, I asked them all, do not kill my ants. And they all agreed. And even my groomer says, oh, I would never. And that is so encouraging to hear that.
Yeah,
Right?
totally. Yeah.
Oh, and then Chi Flow Academy says where your mind goes, energy flows. That I don't know if you've heard that Willie Nelson song. The lyrics from Willie Nelson's song a few years ago, so good about where energy goes.
I don't remember hearing that.
Oh, it's so good. I downloaded it, so I'm going to try and find
another
a
way
link
of
to it
saying,
and share it in the chat.
Another way of saying, as you think, so shall you be.
Yes. Yes.
The world's the way it is because we think it is.
Yes, it's kind of like you told me, right? Oh no. You've been telling me all along, like, and you have to, it's a hard thing to understand that everything is a product of your co-creation with the universe. Like my 7 years of grief and despair and suicidal whatever were my own creation. It's a hard thing to look at. Right?
It is.
Hard thing to look at.
And it takes time, for you to hear, I could have said that to you 6 years ago or 7 years ago, and it answers the question, but your ability to integrate it. So what happened since then is exactly getting you to the point where you can integrate the answer to the question you've got or the solution to the problem you've got. We've got to get out of our own way. Now that means that you're being held, when you ask for the truth at this level, you're being held through the exact process you need to go through to become free of the problem and connect to the reality. It just looks like the opposite so often, and that's deliberate. It looks like the opposite because our belief system is designed to go the opposite way. So it's going to trigger everything it's meant to. But what happens is you have epiphanies like that. You have a moment where you connect with, oh, right, that's what, and then your viewpoint of those experiences you've gone through, because you've had a direct experience that you couldn't integrate while you were having it, but you've had a direct experience that things weren't the way you thought they were. So you connect to why they, at some level, to what they really were, but also the fact that you've been brought through a process. That you can relax about this of intensity. You can relax about it knowing that there's a golden thread, and all you've got to do is be available to it coming in. Like one thing I was told in the process between speaking to Tom, that 3.5 months, life is art. And that's how this works. You can't control inspiration. You can only make yourself available to it. So that feeling of going, oh, click, is like inspiration. The art of life is to get a handle on the illusion of separation. That's the Nazarene. The sacred masculine is to master the illusion of separation. And that's what we're all doing. We're coming into mastery of the illusion of separation. Divide and conquer is the inversion. It's how they use that. And they use fear to make the illusion of separation not only real, but a real problem. So we don't integrate it. So now we're getting out of that mode of operating and thinking and put into one that actually works. And of course, there's a process you go through that you can't control. So that feels whoa.
It feels like you're being ripped to shreds and just destroyed, and you can't.
And you're out of control.
You're out of control and you can't do anything about it. But now I'm like, so many people have said, so on my personal YouTube channel, not on Soulogy, but on my personal YouTube channel, you and I published a talk just between you and I, in which I am absolutely bawling. I am beside myself. It's a hard video to watch, right? Very hard. Some people were triggered by it, said you shouldn't have done it. Some people thought it was very brave to publish it, whatever. But so many people have said since that one, yours and my shows I've felt lighter. I've felt happier. Yes, my mom just told someone a couple of days ago that, did you watch Katie and Gareth's Tuesday show? I haven't seen Katie laugh that much in years. And so like, there's a shift. There's like, you have to see that whatever you're going through, without exception, every single thing is the help you asked for. I could never have heard you say that 4 years ago. I can hear it so magnificently today. Like
because you directly experienced the help, and you can put 2 and 2 together after you get the 2 and 2 to put together. You can't do it ahead of time. And we've been trained to do that. We've been trained not to take a step until we understand all the ramifications of that step, and we condense, shut out so much of life.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't live that way without shutting out life and inspiration. No wonder everyone gets to the point where you just can't feel anything at all, because it shuts out. You're going against the life is art. You're shutting out inspiration, your heart connection, and doing everything according to an idea, which the fundamental idea is that you can control life, and your motivation for doing that never gets questioned.
Andrea said that you said life is art, and I just had to scroll up in the chats. Andrea said earlier, everything is art. Everything we do. It's a hard thing to see when you're living in lack or in abuse or even despair, like all of my years. It's a hard thing to see, and you can't really explain it. And everything looks the opposite of what you think it should be. Like but that's because of the inversion. I don't know. I'm jumbling my words. It's a hard, but once you see it,
there's an emotional release involved. It is literally, you've got to the emotional impact of having to suppress yourself and control life. That emotional energy has to be allowed to kind of release itself. It's like the way what's his name on the Alex Zek show the other day, way he put it,
Nico Martins.
Yeah, when he kind of he's that master he came across shook his hand or held his hand and put both hands on either side of him, and he went into complete mindlessness for a period of time, and then bang, he got hit by all of it, because the way he put it, it's like a pot of water that gets boiled. All of the impurities come up to be released. That's all we're going through. That's it. Every single
Yep.
one of us on this call, every single one of us around the planet, regardless of who they think they are, where they think they are, what they think's happening, we're all going through that exact process.
Yep. And it is
Everything
uncomfortable.
it is uncomfortable, absolutely, and you cannot control it, and it's happening anyway. So everything
Yep.
playing out, like the stories coming through, the scientists, the David Wilcock, all of it plays a part. Psychological warfare is the core of the inversion. Then
Mm-hmm.
biological warfare, frequency weapons, they're all kind of designed to keep us in that, to stop
Yeah.
us connecting, keep us in that mode of being. But again, we have to see all of that for what it really is.
Yep.
And the more free of this emotional content we are, the more consciousness we have available. And that's important too. And the more people who around the world who are starting to wake up to this, question what's going on really, the more that load is spread out. So the lighter it starts to get for us. So there's a few things going to play out this year for all of us who've chosen the transition. One of the reasons why Tom said it's better for you if you choose it. It's intense in the short term, but the long term payoff is you go through this so much faster, and we get the
Yep.
benefit of this process playing out in a big picture for everyone, rather than getting hit by it. We get the benefit of it because it's spreading the load right throughout the entire human race. So each person isn't just carrying their own
No.
the weight of the energy trying to stop us. We're all
Yep.
carrying it for the human race, and it was a small group, and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So I think this year you're going to feel the lightness you haven't felt since you were a kid start
I
to
think so.
grow.
Yep. I think so too. It's
It's factors of life.
yep. Yep. The the falsities, the lies around the medical establishment, the allopathic medicine. Sorry, I was just looking at Janelle. She was talking to Sam and sharing that her stepmom passed away from cancer, leukemia, being tortured by the medical complex, and my dad couldn't stand to see what she went through. Her body finally gave up a few nights ago. Janelle, I'm sorry. I have
Sorry.
so much. Yeah, we're sorry. Absolutely. But it just so many of Alex Zeck's The Way Forward podcasts are on the falsities of the medical industrial complex. Like it's just so much. It's so much a part of the agenda. Like autism being vax injury, and like fluoride being shoved at us by the dental wing of medical, and it calcifies and shuts down your pineal gland, your connection to God. Like when you see the connection, like there's so much rage around the whole medicine
Yeah.
thing.
And look, that's a big part of it too. This becoming more general public kind of scenario is something actually my wife was showing, is when it really hits, the amount of anger that comes out around the world from the general public, the people who haven't chosen yet, was massive.
Yep.
Pain and anger is pain expressed, and it's all of this stuff coming out, that it was done
Yeah.
deliberately, and the cell job. But a lot of the anger is also about the fact that they did that it couldn't have happened without them believing the lie. So there's a
Yep.
process they've got to go through to admit that, to get to that point, to go from being externally focused to coming back to internal responsibility.
Yes.
But again, that's the transition. The whole human race has to see how this was created.
Yep.
We created it, and
We
as
created it. We
painful
bought the lie.
as painful as that is initially, it puts all the power back in our hands again. then we
Yeah.
can create consciously. And
Oh,
that's the
yes.
awareness, that level of awareness hasn't existed in the universe at this level before, at
Oh,
this
yeah.
density.
Yeah. Like, okay, as hard as it is to look at, it's 10 times more empowering to look at it. Like, it gives you back your autonomy, your sovereignty. Like, that's what so many of Alex's podcasts are all about. Like, my mother, 82 on Friday. By the way, it's her birthday Friday. Happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday,
But like, and Roseanne had said earlier in the chats that Mom was laughing at something I said, probably the flies and the ants and something. But anyway, my mom, like, there's no more pap smears in our future. There's no colonoscopies. There's no mammograms. There's no blood work. Blood work by like a train based, maybe, or a homeopath, maybe, or like, but there are no more preventive, you know what I mean, or diagnostic. Like the power is returned to us. I will trust my body, thank you, to tell me
It's
if
designed to
anything is
be,
wrong.
that's right, it's designed to be perfect. And you know, direct energy, again, the technology around direct energy, why it works, it, it the healing side of that impact is basically that everything is light. So when you understand what that means, the physical body, light is you can use the technology behind that principle to bring the body back into balance because the body is light. So when you connect the dots, the ramifications of direct energy, it's also emotional and mental direct. We go direct because what's the whole inversion been about? Financial system, for instance, the reason it's called the root of all evil, the word evil is an inversion of the word live. We
Of
can't
live.
live life within the truth of who we are and the absolute reality. We've got to go through a system first. We've got to go through them to connect to God. We've got to go through them to connect to day-to-day life because you have to have money. Their financial system is slavery. It stops us from living a direct experience of the reality of who we are and where we are. We have to live in this strategic world. And none of that's real. None of that's true.
Yep.
It's not true. You're meant to have to go through a system first. The system, like again, the man on Alex Zek's show was talking about, everything's a reflection of that reality, including civilization. All the systems of civilization come from that reality. The fact that everything around us becomes a reflection of us being within the truth of who we are.
Yeah.
So the system
Yeah.
of civilization
I've
serve that.
I've long said to you, like, during this deep grief, during these 7 years, like, my body just absolutely shut down. And actually, I talked about it to Topher Gardner when he did my Celestic profile last week. Like it's in my chart, my natal chart and my conception chart, that I respond like exponentially to nature. Nature heals me. Nature is good for me. I am at my best next to a body of water, right? And I'm like, it's so funny. Like, for these 7 years, I just curled into fetal position, and you couldn't get me to look at the sun. You couldn't get me to go outside. Like, all these years, and you couldn't get me to move my body. I was like, I didn't care about being alive or dead. I didn't care what my body looked like, what my body felt like. I was hit the wall in a way I don't have words for. And you understood it because you've been there. And Topher understood, and he said, that makes total sense that you responded that way. And I said, yeah, but for 7 years. And he's like, it takes as long as it takes. But I have said to you, right? But I have said to you, since I am clearly on the other side of that pendulum, right? Wouldn't you all agree I am on the other side of that darkness?
Mm-hmm.
I have said to you, as I've gotten more clarity and understanding around how this whole thing works, I've said, I'm not going to worry about my body and the exercise and the nature and the this, because as I become more aligned, more clear, more, sovereign, more connected to God and source, all that stuff's going to take care of itself. Not in
Right.
a, right? Not in a, you don't have to work hard to get this,
No.
but in a, right? But in a non doing way, it's
Yeah.
going to inspire you. You're going to be divinely guided to move your body and soak up the sunshine and get in nature and move your body. It's going to come from an excitement and an aligned place and not a should or shame or guilt or
Exactly.
do.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's half the reason this process is so hard. We have to go inward. And then that triggers a whole lot of stuff about what that looks like and means. Pardon me. And
Yep.
um, that's what it's designed to do. Now, our relationship to the outside world, we've got to get straight about it. And it's all these ideas that you got to be this and shouldn't be that, blah, blah, blah. That's the problem.
Oh yeah.
So at some point,
Yeah.
you're going through a process where you got to collapse out of the mode of being that's created in your life. It doesn't work anymore. So you stop doing it. It makes perfect sense that, well, if you can't do that, what does it look like? And that straight away triggers the motivation behind doing everything that way, which is shame, guilt, all the manipulation we've gone through as kids. So it makes sense we've got to meet all those feelings and have all the stories be there. And then at some point, it's about coming back into the world with a new perspective, because that's the only
Yes.
way you can really get the value of that period. You can only really connect properly, I think, fully to the power of what you've been through, because it's subconscious, very subconscious.
Yes.
And
Yes.
when you kind of come back out of the world, now all of that's very uncomfortable, but
Oh, it's awful. You look like
but
you're doing the opposite of
exactly,
good, the
and you
opposite
are.
of progress. Even the spiritual people I talk to today, if I'm clear and honest about how dark I can feel still,
Can't hear it.
they can't hear it. They shame me. They want to fix it. Like, oh, they can't relate to it. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm being clear, like brutally honest about how I feel. I really don't give a
Right.
shit that you can't relate to what I'm experiencing. I don't need you to.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
the part I think we're all coming into now is integrating what we've been through by being willing to be as we are in each moment, and the reaction that gets is a reflection of what the programming that we've been coming from ourselves.
Mhm.
So we can leave other people to their belief system and connect with who we are and what we see. That's what's never happened before. But like I said, you've got to be in a situation to integrate that's possible. And we've hit a new point now where that we've never been as a race where we are right now. And a lot of people, you can see it playing out in the online communities around this whole question, what's the truth, that have come out of the woodwork since 5-6 years ago, 10 years ago, but even particularly 5-6-7 years ago. We're at a new point now because we had to go through parts of how you deal with this reality shift. But we're at a new point where that very situation is starting to come up. There's a need, but no, it's not quite being met by all the information channels that's starting to build up in the awareness of people. Like, how do we stay in the middle between? How do we stay in balance between these two forces of dark and light within us and how it plays out in the world? And there is a way to do it. It's all a reflection. So that's again the importance of these 4 pillars of the transition. And there's other expressions of it.
Yeah.
Seeing those people who are that way with you when you're being authentic, the right way around, where the reason it impacts you, still impacts you, is because there's something in you that's still tied to the belief and is trying to
Yep.
manage it. But you're aware of that fact. Now it's like it's not important how other people respond because you're seeing it the right way around. It's a
Yeah.
reflection of your own belief system. How is it that I got pulled into shame, guilt, obligation, and what do I have to think about myself to think that way? And there's a way to read
Yep.
the situation that you're in with these people day to day that brings that back to you. You know, define what you're seeing in them, and then look for it in
Mm-hmm.
yourself.
So
And then you own it, but you also see through it that it's not true. It was never true of us. It was never true. But
never.
someone can say that to you until they're blue in the face. If you can't hear it, it's still going to be. You've got to directly experience it. It's not true, and there's only one way to do that: is to let life take you. And
Yeah.
we're all at a point now where we're coming back into the normal world and dealing with this phenomenon that caused us to pull away in a whole new way. Leaving everybody to think the way they do and letting ourselves just stay with who we are, like we should have done when we were 3 or 4 or 5 and we
Yeah.
got pulled out of it.
You've said that to me since we met. Like you're giving them what's theirs. You're basically clarifying what's theirs and knowing what's yours.
That's it. The way it's put, there's our business, there's their business, and there's God's business. So what's playing
Yeah.
out on the world stage is God's business. What
Yeah.
the connection between us and other people is getting clear what's theirs and what's ours is what we're going through.
Yeah.
And everything that's God's business is serving that process, that process. So that gives us somewhere to go. Now we've got somewhere to put our attention that we haven't had before. When the storm's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, we can come back to that understanding. It's very simple. It's very simple. It's all serving us coming back to the truth of who we are.
Yep. Not an easy process.
No, I mean, it isn't. It's a way of life rather than a destination. And
Right.
for a while you get a handle on it, it's all about the pain and suffering you've gone through your whole life. It's all about seeing through the inversion, but that way of life, you're learning to move back with the flow of life again. At a certain point, and this is what's coming down the line in a big way this year, at a certain point that starts to disappear. It stops being about reversing the inversion and simply comes about connecting with the flow of life again, which is where all the magic is, all the information is, the love is.
Stop trying to Stop trying to show life what it is. Allow life to show you.
Instead of putting a spiritual overlay of that on top of our pain, there's no pain anymore. We simply see the reality. That's what we've all been looking for. That's what the spiritual stuff's that's getting in the way of now. But a lot of people are starting to see that. It's getting in the way of us coming back to what it's supposed to be giving us. You can't suppress that feeling.
And it's hard to have that emotional maturity, that emotional intelligence when those around you don't, because if people are obsessively worrying, like my friend's daughter worries, and I just want to be like, you understand worrying is basically atheism. I mean, I did learn that from a mentor like 5 years ago, very early in my awakening. And it really is harsh to hear, but it is. If you're going to worry, you're not trusting God's plan, right? Like we're not built to worry.
No.
We're not here to worry.
And it is harsh, but where does that feeling of harshness really come from? Does it come from the situation, or does it come from our viewpoint of the situation?
Our perception. It's all perception.
Someone can say that to you until they're blue in the face, but until you connect through your own direct experience of this process, it's not really true yet. And that's what's happening for all of us. You're going to connect with the reality of that. And everything, so the way Tom put it, things with us are simple.
It's so simple. It's so unbelievably, unspeakably simple. But
it blows your mind.
The inversion, it blows your mind, but the inversion, because it's an inversion, made it all complex.
Yeah.
It's so...
So wherever you see that, this is a good thing to take note of. wherever you see the complexity and the intensity and the confusion, blah blah blah, you're looking at the inversion, and you can pull your attention out of it to try to resolve it at that level of thinking. Just gives it more energy. Pull your attention out of that way of seeing it, and stay in not knowing. Give it and keep asking Tom. Keep saying to God, help. Show me.
Oh, I ask God for help all day long with the simplest, silliest things. And it almost always makes me feel better. It almost always makes me be nicer, be more patient, be
Yeah.
more loving. Oh my God, all day long. God's probably like, you again?
Oh, and look, this is something I'd love to get across. The humor in the room when I was speaking to Tom, to God, and the other
He's
people in the
funny.
room. It's the lightheartedness and humor, and somewhere God's laughing, connecting with the humor and the intention behind that. It's funny, and same with the Galactic Federation, the ET races that are connected to this process too. The humor of it, it's like finally they're starting to laugh at the pain and this problem. Let's go.
See it
Time.
right. See it as not the reality. See it as
Yeah.
not, yeah. Like I
That's
just
why
like,
enlightenment is always a laughing, and the first people who go click always start laughing. It's like, it's like getting a joke.
yes. It's like, I don't know. I have glimmers of that. I have moments of that in like enlightenment. And it's why I resonate so much when people will talk about a spiritual awakening as just not the love and light, rainbows and butterflies bullshit, they want to sell you. That is the inversion. Like awakening is an extremely painful process to have the rug ripped out from under you. It's not, I mean, I guess for some people it is a slow drip process because a bunch of us will talk with one another about our awakening. Sam's always talking about my awakening is like that was that fast and you're still alive. Do you know how amazing that is? Like, but it is not. Yeah, that's why I don't have a lot of patience for the love and lighters. Like, you know what? Go love and light somewhere else. It's all great to be all, you know what I mean? It's all great to be all hippy dippy and stuff, but there's some work to do. There's some
Yeah,
work to
well,
be done.
you always got to be willing to question your own motivation. Am I really just dressing up suppression to look like the opposite, or is it really what I'm? Where am I coming from? Am I trying to avoid dealing with the problem? Is that what I'm really doing, or am I meeting it right way around? Being willing to ask that kind of question. You're not going to get an answer straight away, but just the fact you're willing to ask the question means you're switched on as a receiver. Then you're willing to see getting the rug pulled out of you and getting put in situations that bring out blah, 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 as the help you ask for. You're willing to, the way Ramana put it, the only way to know fear isn't real is to let it come and get you. So you're willing to see through what the story you've got about everything is. Doesn't mean you're going to go straight to seeing it. All you need is the willingness to connect with that there's a reality beyond what you can see. That is the answer you're looking for. All you got to do is stay with that viewpoint whilst all the other viewpoints that were engineered into you get forced into the light of that question by the situations you put into deliberately so that you see through it, And it's just like we keep saying, it's a process you can't control. All you can do is surrender to it. And when you feel yourself regressing, you pull your attention back to it.
That's why when I'm seeing the dark or acknowledging that I'm seeing the dark and people are shaming and guilting me, I just like, calm down, Katie. This is a course correcting universe. You don't have to do a thing. It's coming for them too, whether they want it to or not. And it's so funny. Mike in the comments says, yeah, show some hate and dark for fuck's sake. He's so cute. It's not like and it is, and saying this, it makes it sound like I want everybody to be dark. Like I think Roseanne and I were talking in the car earlier, and she was expressing, empathy for a friend of ours experiencing darkness. And she's like, "Oh, I just feel bad for them." I'm like, "I don't." And it sounds so mean, but I don't. Like,
No.
this is your journey. Fucking, like, buckle up, buttercup. Like, good. I am glad you're feeling this darkness and you are courageous enough to say it. It's coming for all of you.
And meet
And
it
that's
with, and
separate.
you're questioning. Yeah, you're questioning reality because you got no other choice right now. If you're half compos mentis, you got no other choice but to question reality. And when darkness comes into your field, no matter how convinced you are it's true, that question's got you now. Once you hit the wall at that level, that question, what's the real truth, is embedded within your entire paradigm, regardless of what comes to you. That has an effect. It has an effect. It absolutely has an effect, because the way Tom said, someone asked him, how do we deal with this? What are we missing? What's something you can show us that will help us go through this process? And he said, out of fifth element, which is spirit, which means everything, which is a way of saying everything is one, bringing that awareness into your
Yeah.
process now. And that's what that question does. What's the truth? You can't ask what's the truth, because without that happening, because that's the truth, everything is one. So you brought in the fifth dimensional transition. By default, you switch back on as a receiver. Now the exact same situations, even though you can't see anything else but that situation, the fact that you've got that playing out in your
Yes. It changes
disassembling
the whole
everything,
game.
and you're not even
It
aware
changes
of
the
it
whole game.
happening
I'll give you, you're not even
until
aware of
you
it
are.
happening. Right. But for an example, like we've been driving, like I said, for 24 hours for the last 2 days. And Roseanne, I don't know what I said to some car, or some reaction I had to some car, but Roseanne's like, "Yeah, my daughter's got road rage too." I'm like, but then mom's like, "What is it we say?" And I'm like, "Spark of God, spark of God, spark of God. You're a spark of God too. You're a spark of God. You're a spark of God too." No, I don't give the finger. But it's just like going through life, especially in a car driving in Texas, because driving in Texas is unlike driving anywhere else on the planet, I'm telling you. But I can't know that, of course. But it's just love and light, brother, sister, you are not the enemy. And spark of God, and you're a spark of God, and you're a spark. Just remembering whatever, like, I don't have to like that expression, that particular expression. I don't have to like the way you're driving. I don't have to like that behavior, but you are a spark of God too.
That's
Right?
it. Exactly.
Melissa's
Yeah,
got to
exactly.
go. Mwah. Love you,
Oh,
Melissa.
see you, Melissa.
Okay. All right. All right.
Anyone? Yeah. What are people thinking? Anybody in the chat got any?
Sam saying, dropping some good stuff. She says it's another level of the program, still locked inside of it, though by choice rather than ignorance. Yeah, I think I've talked with Sam about this before. When I almost have more compassion and patience for those completely unaware of what's going on than those who are awake to what's going on and still behaving shitty. Like
Yeah,
yeah, I still don't want to
triggering.
hang around with either one of those, but yeah.
Yeah, and we've got to get a hand. We're learning to get a handle on that. It's getting
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's starting to get closer to the root of it all,
Well,
which is
Janelle says definitely waking up has given me some of my greatest joy. But if I would have known about the work, struggle, and sometimes feeling insane, I don't know if I would have chose it. But think about it, Janelle. And like for my 2021 awakening, I on some level, I mean, of course we chose it, but I didn't choose this. This was what Gareth has always said is the choiceless choice. Like I was waking up. There was no other way. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you do with that? You give it back to the only perspective in the universe that can see precisely the entire thing, all of it, and your place within it, how you got there and how to move you out of it. And that's why the deep state they've gone to town on disconnecting us from the reality of God, precisely because that's the power it has. If we connect to that reality, you know what? I can give my free will back to that perspective and just meet the moment as being that perspective, bringing me what I need to move out of this problem. Once you click with
Absolutely.
that, that's the whole premise of the universe, giving us
Yeah.
the gift of free will. And the best thing to do with that gift is give it back to God.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
our choice. We can either come from will and pay the price for that, will and ignorance, and just let ourselves run right. And this is why the world's the way it is. We're being manipulated into a very dark version of that. Or we can just let God show us in each moment, in each living moment. And that's just common sense. When you bring it down to street level, you take all the mysticism and religion and all the blah blah designed to stop us connecting with the simple truth. Everything is one conscious energy. Well, what does that mean? It's all God. We can relate to that reality by giving our free will back to God. You got a conscious choice. You want to connect with the reality of what's really happening. So connect with God, the fact that that's a possibility, and then look for that in what's happening rather than trying to make what happened into something else so that you can feel like you're doing it. Because that's the whole problem. You can't do this. We're getting undone by it.
No, you're undone by it. You do not do it. Yeah. Yeah.
You can't do it.
Sam says, I don't feel that what?
That triggers us, but that's what we need to meet.
Yes.
Control.
Sam says, so I'm going to just read a couple of the comments because they're really good. Sam says, I don't feel badly for them. I respect their choice to take the route however they choose. When we acknowledge the true power of each, we must acknowledge that no one is victim. Absolutely, absolutely. And then Roseanne said, thumb down. And I was thinking, oh no, what did I say? Did I say something I shouldn't say? But she was reminding me that instead of giving the finger now, her daughter gives the thumbs down. And then my mom says when somebody cuts her off or gives her the finger or is rude to her while driving, my mom just goes, hi. So mom waves, Roseanne's right, which, I mean, that's perfect. That's going to trigger the heck out of anybody. Like, you're so mad and enraged, you're giving the finger, and some little old lady's going, hi. Right? And Roseanne's daughter doing the thumbs down. It's so much less aggressive. It like gets the point across that you did not appreciate their move, but you're not being aggressive and foul, right? And then and then Sam says, I feel like if any of us chose this as the human rather than the being prior to arrival, we'd have all said, fuck no, get bent. And I know Sam's in the thick of it, and she has been for years, and she's at her ceiling. I totally get it. Susan Bornstein says, I have no choice. Absolutely. In this regard, there's no choice. No.
Yeah. No. And good to get a handle on that. Good to first thing you see it. Yeah, well, if you got no choice, now your attention's not in how do I put
fighting
it? Trying to make it
resisting it, making it what you think it should be. I mean, that's all a lie. Yeah.
That taking that layer of fighting the process you're asking for, the help you're asking for, and then fighting against it, getting that layer out of the way is a big one. It's a big one.
Oh, it's a huge one. It's a huge one. And Janelle says, and today I am so happy I am right where I am. And Eve says the only choice is to surrender. And then Patty says, but look how many of us have found others to support us now. It's amazing. Back in 2017, it was slim pickings to find support and understanding. Now I find so much support just by logging on to YouTube. And she's right. She's right.
Totally.
I mean, even the number from 2021 to 2026 is massive. I can't even imagine in 2017. I wasn't awake. Like some people I know have been awake for decades waiting for this time here right now. Some are jaded and cynical and don't believe anything's happening. But I don't know how you could be really conscious and awake and not see that something is happening.
Yeah. And look, to be honest, that phenomenon that if give you know, disillusionment is the final state of mind before you wake up to before enlightenment. It's said disillusionment is the final state. So what's the real engine room behind people like that thinking that way? Expectations. They had an expectation of what it should and shouldn't look like and how it should and shouldn't happen. That's what
Yep.
disillusionment.
Yep.
Why it's the final state. They're all concepts of reality, and it's that very that very mode of being that's the problem. So they have been going exactly through the right process they needed to go through to get free of that way of looking at everything, and
Uh,
that's just their version of it. So they're at that point right now. Burnout's another big one. You know, that's something I've had to deal with just because, you know, I've been seeing this play out since I was a small child and very alone, very alone. I mean, you reckon it was hard in 2017, try being in the 80s or the 70s
yeah.
or the 80s, 70s,
Yeah.
80s, and this. Who are you going to talk to? It's extremely isolating. And that has an impact because it's intense and you're alone in it, completely alone in it. Now, exactly that's transforming now, and there's a level of freedom in like what we're talking about, and our whole kind of feeling around all of this is growing exponentially, and there's something really powerful about it. And the Arcturians told me at some critical point, they called it the great coming together and the great falling apart. Like when it actually hits the physical world, they called it the great coming together and the great falling apart. So the great coming together is all of us who have gone through this process and we're all at a particular point. We'll all start finding each other by the same process that what we needed to undo the inversion came to us. And at some point, it stops being about that. You don't need to do that alone. That's very introspective and alone time. You have to do that. At a certain point, we start finding each other because now it's let's call it an attractive force. All the people of like-mindedness kind of come together. So
Yeah. Yeah.
same
We're
process.
like a beat. We're like the Iron Giant when he lost like his hand or something and it beep 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 and it was a beacon and it was bringing all the various parts of him back to him and making him whole. Like the
Yeah,
Iron Giant has some like deep concepts, but we are all
right.
beacons bringing like there's so much love in the chat right now of everybody so grateful for this amazing group and everybody's so happy they made them laugh and that they found each other and all this. I
So
just
true. And it's going to grow big time. It's about to grow big time. I think by the end of April, you'll see this group and it's going to go through the roof. Is
there
my personal.
I feel like I agree with you. I agree with you. But I have like big themes that I feel like they won't leave. Like I have this wound with like like my friend Rochelle, my friend Roseanne, they each have four children. My mom has three, my sister has two. I have this son of mine. Like I can't help but long for the babies. And so on the eve of the new moon, Astrology Christy, see Alexa, said to me, write down 5 things you want. Don't go small, go big. Write down 5 things you want. Meditate for a minute on each one of those. Meditate for 5 minutes and then go outside at night and burn them, right? And like, I get so, right? And I thought that was beautiful. And I get so stuck. It's not ever jealousy. I'm not angry, but I get so stuck the second I meet someone or hear about their children, this crying comes.
Mm,
This
grief and loss.
grief comes And it's like, why am I not letting that one go? What's up with that?
Well, grief and loss is a big part of this because we lost ourselves and we lost all the benefit, all the how do I put it? What the experience of being in a family and then connecting with love and having a family of our own and being into what that should have looked like had we been left alone to be who we are. You insist you have a human had that in you insist you have a human nature. What we lost, this is the pain of the Magdalene you may have heard of. The
Oh
pain of the
yeah.
Magdalene.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yep.
that's everyone's got it, particularly
But
the feminine.
isn't this like the shedding of what's doesn't serve you? Like it's so funny.
Well, what's tied up in that feeling of grief and loss is that it's permanent, that you've lost something you'll never get back.
That I'll never get
So we
back.
become aware of the price we've paid for this inversion in our own life, or like what it cost us was being able to be the father or the mother we wanted to be, having the
Yeah.
relationship with our children that we feel was right, that never really panned out. And the big, all the ramifications of that. I mean, that's a big deal. Marriage, like how many lovers have we had that we went in with this intention and we came out the other end and it all just fell apart. Now, it feels like we've lost something we'll never get back. Now, that's not correct.
Yeah. It's not correct. It's believing the lie.
Everything that's been taken from you will be given back. So what's coming next? The thing is, you can't go around grief and loss and that mind conclusion. You've got to go through.
No.
We've got to be put in this. We've got to connect with. We connect with it because the thing is, we've never been conscious of the price we've paid before.
Nope.
We've just been going through this. This is what you do, and we've been paying the price subconsciously until we hit the wall.
Yes.
Start asking a question. We go
And
through
now
this
we're
process.
conscious of it.
And now we're becoming conscious of it. So this layer again,
So it's like
disillusionment,
feeling
grief,
it.
loss.
Yes, so it's feeling it all over again, but with an awareness and a higher perspective you didn't have.
Which is almost harder in some ways because now we're feeling what we see. We've got to a point where we've given permission to all of that pain to be seen, and now free will is the golden law of the universe, and now we gave permission for it by meeting the life the way we have, so we're seeing through it. So that's disillusionment's the final state. Grief and loss are all tied up with that, and so we're the reality of what we lost. The reality of what was lost can come to us through that experience, not despite it, but through it, and that's why.
Yeah, I know.
That's
That's a hard one.
Big part of open.
A big part of what?
Healing.
Open contact. Yes. So Sam just said something really beautiful. To also know, Katie, that in a parallel life, you have your children exactly what you grieve as loss in this one. So says the quantum universe. You can't let it go because it exists. Oh God, I love that. That just gives me goosebumps.
The way Ramana put it, exactly right, Sam. The way Ramana put it is the truth of who you are is untouched by any of it. So the truth of who they are, the truth of what the relationship is, the truth of the life the absolute reality, it never went anywhere. We just weren't aware of it. And the way the Pleiadians put it, it was a channeling through Wendy Kennedy. They said, you'll finally be able to see and hear each other. So your son, all the exes that you had, finally seeing the love, finally connecting to the love, like all the history just dissolves because it's not the truth.
No,
it's not the truth.
No.
It was we were all living a lie. So the truth, we all look each other in the eye now. So the Christmas at the families, what it was that you're in your heart you wanted to connect to but could never find is there. Magic. It's right
Yep.
there. Nobody has to do anything. It's all there, and it never went anywhere. We just got the mind out of the way now, and that's what's coming in. That's exactly what's
Yeah.
coming in.
I think that's why I held on. I think that's why God brought you to me. Like I had to hear that. Like because the faith that I've had since the awakening has never left. Like I hear you say this and I know this is true. I still struggle with why I grieve it so much. I really
Yeah,
do.
it's
I don't
got to
like
live the process.
I feel like I've looked at it honestly. I feel like I've talked about it ad nauseum for like 8 months on this show. Like I feel like a broken record
And you're
around
still in
like
it. Both could
yeah,
be true, and you're still in it.
yeah, it's like
That's what
yeah,
spirituality got in the way of without really realizing it. That you know the truth and you're still in the lie. But that's the reason why. Remember, this has got a history in your life, and you can't just connect to one moment and have every single moment dissolve.
yeah, la la
You
la.
know, yeah. It's because it is possible to do that, but you've got to be in a particular
Yes,
place. But the
divine
light of that
timing.
divine timing, yeah. So again, like I said, you give them permission for all the suppressed energy that mind conclusion created. It created it. It's not the nature of who you really are, but that mind conclusion created it. So it's suppressed to who you are. That conclusion, the energy of the truth of who you are, the love of the truth of who you are is what's coming up. But the conclusion around it is the problem.
Is the distortion.
That's
It's
right.
the
So the
problem.
reason a lot of it feels the way it does is simply because of our mind's interpretation of what we're experiencing. And that's the whole problem. And now you know the truth isn't that. Again, you've added a fifth element. So it's destroying the mind conclusion's ability to operate the way it does. It just takes time to release all of that suppressed energy.
Oh,
The adult that you are now is being brought back through time to meet all the Katies that don't know that yet from childhood
yeah,
up.
yeah.
That's what healing looks like.
Amen. Yeah, there's so much love in the chat right now. Mike's talking about his son and stepson who are autistic. And Nigel, oh my God,
Gonna
he
be all gonna
lost.
be
What's that? Oh, I know.
it's
They're
all
all going to
gonna
be healed. I know. Like, I hold on to this stuff. And, like, sometimes I talk to my mother. I'm like, Gareth has to be right. Gareth has to be right. But maybe it's also, like, it's also my lot in this life to be like, okay, if Gareth's not right. You know what I mean? Like, this is
Totally go
all
there. Exactly. Yeah. You see,
right.
my direct experience isn't what's important for you. Yours is. But you won't have it if you're not open to it. You're open to it,
Yep.
which means both have to be able to coexist. And that's what's never happened before. The ability to
Nope.
stay in balance. Balance is the key to all of this problem. What's the problem? Imbalance. That's how you bring it back into balance, to allow both to exist, and all you want is the truth. Destroys the lie.
Yeah.
And doubt is the big engine room behind the lie. Of course, that's going to be an element that's flying around in your experience of this process, and it needs to be there. But the question is, it really the truth destroys it? It can't lock your attention up anymore, and that's a very big deal. That's a very, very, very big deal.
Yeah.
It changes
Really
everything.
do.
Yeah, it changes. You don't do it; it does you.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy. Yeah.
Once you start, you
My,
can't go back.
yeah. Yeah. Mike's like, wow, that'll be awesome. I'm telling you, I know the healing is coming for the autists. And I know the healing's coming for all of us. I don't know how I even know it. I just know it.
Well, again, direct energy. If you're a civilization that understands the direct energy, you know exactly how the universe works, and that's physically, mentally, and emotionally, and conscious. It's all 5 dimensions. So it has impact on healing. Removing all the heavy metals from the brain, done. But how do you do
Done.
that? Well, if
Right.
you've got the right technology, technology, you can use light to bring the DNA, switch the DNA back to rewriting the entire body, bringing the body back into alignment with the DNA's pristine, true nature. That's
Yeah,
all.
pristine.
You
Yeah.
use light to release that information back into the body and destroy all imbalance within the body. All the vaccine damage, all the health ramifications
Yeah.
can be removed very, very quickly and very easily. We just had to be at the right point to receive the help. They couldn't just step in and do
Yeah.
it. We had to be able to
No.
deal with all this
And in
stuff
the
and have the right questions.
But in the meantime, a whole lot of humanity is already detoxing the metals as much as we are
Exactly.
able to, and
Yeah.
changing diets and purifying and filtering water and structuring our water. Like my mother, I'm constantly joking, you're never going to lose your mind because you're already getting rid of aluminum. Like like I'm not going to get cancer because I already don't believe it's not a like I'm healing everything. Like the healing tech and ET assistance absolutely is coming. But in the meantime, until it does, we're all taking these beautiful steps in awareness and physicality and diet and just uh,
That's the thing.
like Mike says with like what sorry, like don't lose that thought. Like Mike says with COVID, I say with cancer. You know how you know you're not going to get it? You're not going to test for it. You know how you don't get COVID? Don't take a test.
And look, you know, we're taking responsibility for the problem and we're actively engaging and looking at the solution, and we've chosen to find a way to deal with this. Now, really, all the Galactic Federation have got to do is step in and show us a better way. Great, you're already there. Hey, this will deal with that problem way faster. But we had to get to the point where we were conscious of this whole problem. What it really now. Okay, it's hard work because it feels like the force bringing it in. It's very big and it's hard to find people in the system to connect with who think that way. But the fact is that we're dealing with the problem and we're not engaging with what we've been sold anymore. That's a lie. We've seen through it and we're looking for the right solution. So we're dealing with it at the level that we've got at the moment. It's just that they have a much better way of doing it. They can step into that and say, here you go.
Yeah.
They couldn't have done that beforehand.
Yep.
We had to. They said to me years ago, "We cannot do it for you. We've got to get to the point where we can meet them in the middle."
Yes, and it reminds me a bit of Nico Martin's interview with Alec about around the architecture, around the harmonizing, around the neutralizing. You're not trying to combat or fight these things. You're trying to harmonize them, neutralize them, make them from malevolent to benevolent. It's like I explain to everybody all the time, like Gareth has always told me that it's going to be like these frequencies that everyone's like fearful of or fighting or like you don't want to do that. You want like Ibrahim Karim with his biogeometry, which is this necklace. Like what they're doing with their symbols and their energy and their intention and their love is harmonizing. It's even harnessing the negative distortion of the towers, utilizing their power into benevolence, neutral, harmonic confluence, right?
The power we have, Tom said, he said your motivation to protection in all things. Now make that uppercase, underline it many times, all things, including frequency weapons. How okay, if this Hawaiian shaman can cure an entire ward of criminally insane people, the hardest to deal with, that's a universal principle. We can use the same principle to completely reverse the frequency warfare weapons. And that's again, the Palladians through Wendy Kennedy, they describe this period as the frequency wars. Well, that implies that it's not just their frequencies that's the only weapon. Well, what's the weapon coming back at them? Us.
Yes. Yes.
us, where we
Yep.
put our attention, the power of where we put our attention, and looking at those, any frequency, it's all frequency, it's all one frequency and fractalizing into light. What the reason Tom calls them those of the interference, think of that word interference, it's static. It's a way of taking creating frequencies that disrupt, in a sense, like static, that disrupt the signal, make it hard for us. He called the body, mind, and receiver. It makes it hard for us to receive the signal in its true form. Our mind has
Mm-hmm.
that power. Well, of course, if the
Mm-hmm.
mind has the power, we can see through it. Now, what that does is it takes those frequencies of the inversion through 5G, through all sorts of frequency weapons, and reconfigures them. You can actually change that frequency back into one that's in harmony with the universe. The
Yep.
big problem for them is that their system now is pointing back at them, which is why the
Yeah.
Arcturians describe the great coming together and the great falling apart. Everything that's been used against you will be turned back to the user. And that includes frequency weapons and biological weapons. Our intention to heal from this system puts the light of awareness back into the system, which is again
So
why
cool.
the Galactic Federation can step in and help us with that process, because
Yep.
we're already doing it.
Yep.
They couldn't do anything until we started to do it ourselves. Now they can help
Yes.
us do it.
Yep. 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 And that's a big part of Nico Martin's work too. And that was the last 5 minutes of the interview. He's so passionate. Like he loves what he does with Ibrahim Kareem and biogeometry and all of that. But he's like, his passion, what lights him up is reminding people of how powerful they are, each and every one, without exception. Like you are the power. They're just missing the interference portion. But like Todd was saying at the beginning before we recorded, is that everyone, what was it? Everyone has like different pieces of the puzzle, basically. Like
Yes.
everyone, like you don't know anyone. He says the most coherent, the most he resonates with is Franco. Like Franco is his, Gareth is mine. So like, right? Yeah. But everyone has these pieces of the puzzle, and it's just like, this is some
And
trippy
for
shit.
me, you have pieces of the puzzle I'm missing.
Right.
And
Right.
so in unity, we kind of complete something that we've both been needing, that we, but it's again, it's a reflection. It's a reflection that the capacity I have is your capacity. The capacity you have is my capacity.
That's one of the things
I
that
just gotta
Topher
connect
told
to it.
me. Yes, that's why we connected. But that's one of the things Topher told me when I was, expressing my, I don't know, impatience or frustration with like everyone has this expertise or these specialty or this thing they're doing with these people, and I'm like, what am I doing? And basically he said, and I'm paraphrasing here, but like your curiosity fuels what we're doing. You are the fuel for what we're doing, right?
You know how much there's no way, when the Arcturians told me, God, how long ago was that now? 4 years ago, it's time for you to go public. There is absolutely no way I could be sitting here in this chair completely unscripted had we not met and just had conversations that went on for 2 or 3 years first. I wouldn't have known what to say or how to say it. I had to somehow have someone who could ask the right questions to kind of help me connect all the dots together in at least hopefully coherent form. And that's just going to get more and more so. And along the way, my certainty and understanding of what's really happening has been coming. You've been integrating it because you already have this awareness. I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
Yeah, you're telling me things I just remember. But you're coded for me to hear it. It's in our coding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I don't. That's what I'm coming to relax about. And one of the big problems I had is everybody doesn't have to connect with me and what I'm saying. It's not, there are some who will, there are some who won't, but for everybody, there's someone. And that just gets
Mhm.
simpler and clearer over time. So for me,
Right.
just the emotional process I've had to go through of dealing with the life I've had to live, like everybody, we've all had our version of it. I needed to go
Mhm.
through a healing process as this transition got real, um, as well. I had to integrate stuff. And so you've done just as much for me as I've done for you.
Thanks. Thanks. Ah, shucks. Um, Wonderful. All right. So I think that's where I'm going to call it. I'm getting sleepier the more we talk. I mean, I know that my yawns are when I feel truth. We know this. But
We do.
also I've been ask Roseanne and Mom. I drove like nobody's business for 24 hours the last 2 days.
I'm seeing 2 days
So,
of driving in those yawns as well. So
what's that?
yes, I can see 2 days of driving in those yawns as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, exactly. It's where I find my most peace. Like I have two more big trips in the next 2 months, and I'm just really looking forward to them. And then I'm even adding more. I think I'm going to do New England. Um,
Yeah, New
yeah.
Australia.
You're so cute. Keep on. Oh yeah, Roseanne says, and through the rain too. Today, the whole 4 or 5 hours was torrential rain pour. It was nuts, nuts. A lot
So
of
no,
accidents we drove by.
right. No, you need to
Yeah.
come to Australia too. Nigel and Carrie and Melissa, and there's a whole group of Aussies on the call who are just going to keep nagging you about it.
Ah, they're not nagging me. You're nagging me. They're not nagging
They're
me.
backing me up. I can feel them. They're all standing behind me
You
saying, "Yeah,
can
quick."
feel them. They're doing it very quietly.
Yeah. Well, now I think you might hear a bit more.
All right. Now that you said it, thanks a lot.
Now that I've said it.
Um, Yeah, Sam says driving is one of her everythings. Yeah, I'm passionate about my cars. I'm passionate about
Yeah.
maintaining them. I'm passionate about them being loved and cared for and running beautifully. Yeah.
Well, I love car, and I can't drive. Technically, I'm not allowed to drive till December because of that epilepsy
I know. I
storm.
know.
So I'm
Well,
missing it.
that's
I'm
kind
really
of cool. If I come to Australia for a couple of months, I get to drive everywhere.
yeah, and the
I don't
steering will
like
be on the
driving with
proper
other
side.
people. I'll do
You'll be driving.
fine. Easy
I want to
peasy.
see that, and I want to see you making a hook turn in Melbourne in the city. That freaks
You,
everybody out.
I think I could probably do it. I've driven in all the
Nigel's
major
nodding
cities.
right now. I can hear Nigel in
What?
my, he's going, oh yeah, can you video and send me a copy?
Oh, it's funny. I think Roseanne thinks I'm a good driver. My mom knows I'm a good
Yeah,
driver. She probably.
I can't wait. Us driving to the Northern Territory through all the Aboriginal sacred sites, connecting with the Aboriginal culture. We're going to do that for sure. They're going to show us where the Egyptians went.
Oh God, I know. Oh God, Nico talked so much about Egypt too. Oh my God, it was so cool. So
That's why you
that
can't
video
go to
was
the
so
bottom of the
good.
Grand. Dude, it's why you can't go to the bottom of the Grand Canyon either. By the way, you know
Oh, I
that,
know.
don't you?
We know. I just told Roseanne about the Grand Canyon. I think that was a new one for her.
The Egyptians. Yeah, I was told the Nazarene went there and told the Native American tribal councils that now the America in this isn't the America USA, the Federal Federation, the Federal Republic of USA is the goal. That's what's coming in. That's what he means. But
Yeah,
he told them that they would see the fourth beast rising for the C version of America, the corporation, that they would see America come and go.
yeah. Yep.
He told the
I'm ready
president.
for it. Um,
So
Roseanne says I'm a very good driver, but she may have said a few Hail Marys. And Mike H now wants to see a hook turn. And Sam is saying I'm assuming a hook turn is a U-turn, is what we call a U-turn here.
well, let's imagine two main roads crossing, and you've got to go to turn right at the intersection. You've got to go into the intersection and pull over to the left while the other cars are going past you. And as soon as the light goes orange, you've got to turn right across what would be the flow of traffic, which means you've got to make sure that the people stopping are stopping and you get across before the green light goes for the other row. And there's no problem doing it, but if you've never done it before, then
I'm
you'll
pretty
be a
sure
lot
I
more
could
likely
do
to
it.
win.
I could drive a semi, dude. Could drive a semi. I could drive an 18-wheeler with my eyes closed.
Oh my God. Okay.
My mechanic gives me mad kudos. My cars talk to me, man. I hear things mechanics don't hear. I know what I'm doing. I'm telling you, the car drives. I drive so well because the car loves me.
Oh man, I got to look when I come to the US, which I'm going to do. We're going to do a road trip, and but I'm going to hire a car, something like a Boss Mustang or a Camaro, or yeah. Well, you just suck it up, and I'll drive. I'll
No, we'll
drive.
go. No. You drive your car. I'll drive my car.
Oh no, we're going to be in the same car.
I told you, I do the driving.
Yeah, just drive the Boss Mustang.
Oh,
Shelby
Nigel says you
Cobra.
guys have 22 wheels. What?
Oh,
What'd you say?
I'm just naming
Being a
muscle cars, late
smartass?
60s and 70s
All
muscle
right.
cars.
All right. Mom just said
Anyway,
she wouldn't. My mom just said she couldn't even cross the street in London. I could drive. I could drive in London. I could do it. All right. I'm out of here. I love you. Love everybody.
love you all. Great talking. Fantastic. It's all good.
See you next week.
See you next week.